Hey, want to skip those ads and get early access and bonus episodes of all Banana for Scale shows? Hop on over to truestory.fm/join and discover all the cool perks that come with being a member of the Banana for Scale family. Coming up on The Devil's Details, 90s CE was a good year for wine. Revelation, Chapter 14. Good morning, Star, and welcome to another episode of The Devil's Details, a show where we dig up, decipher, dissect, and deconstruct the many forms of the devil. One of my names is Lester Ryan Clark.
And I sometimes go by Keenan Diaz.
And we're just two lost souls hitchhiking down the highway to hell. This is just a PSA for all y'all. Even down in hell, there is no drinking and driving. So we have stopped at a handsome little pub. I'm used to the cozy furnishings of Lilith's underground bar, but I will settle for this. This is what's this bar called? This roadside bar.
Uh-oh.
The Grapes of Wrath.
Right.
But anyway. This is the famous Grapes of Wrath chapter where you have heard that phrase. I'm sure all y'all have heard that phrase, whether you have read the book, whether you have, I don't know, at some point sung the Battle Hymn of the Republic, or have just said it for no apparent reason when you were at the store and you were like, and they're like, welcome to Ralph's, and you're like, where are your grapes of wrath? And they're like, would you like the red grapes of wrath or the purple grapes of wrath or the white grapes of wrath? And you say to the customer service person, those are green grapes of wrath. Thank you very much. They're not white. Yes, I know you get white wine from them, but it should be green wine, is what I'm saying.
That hadn't occurred to me. I don't know wine.
Yeah. 7 heads, 10 horns, and really good legs. You know about that, right?
I think it just means it's stickier, right? It sticks to the glass a little more,
like
right?
drips down and it's like in little like rivulets and stuff. Yeah. But anyway, okay, yeah. Let's get to the chapter. So this is Revelation chapter 14, King James Version. And I looked, and lo, a lamb stood on the Mount Sion, and with him 144,000, having his father's name written in their foreheads. And I heard a voice from heaven, as the voice of many waters, and as the voice of a great thunder. And I heard the voice of harpers harping with their harps. And they sung, as it were, a new song before the throne, and before the 4 beasts, and the elders. And no man could learn that song, but the 144,000, which were redeemed from the earth. These are they which were not defiled with women, for they are virgins. These are they which follow the Lamb whithersoever he goeth. These were redeemed from among men, being the firstfruits unto God and to the Lamb. And in their mouth was found no guile, for they are without fault before the throne of God. And I saw another angel fly in the midst of heaven, having the everlasting gospel to preach unto them that dwell on the earth, and to every nation, and kindred, and tongue, and people, saying with a loud voice, Fear God, and give glory to him, for the hour of his judgment is come, and worship him that made heaven and earth, and the sea, and the fountains of waters. And there followed another angel, saying, Babylon is fallen, that great city, because she made all nations drink of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. And the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, If any man worship the beast and his image, and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of God, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation. And he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. And the smoke of their torment ascendeth up for ever and ever. And they have no rest day or night, who worship the beast and his image, and whosoever receiveth the mark of his name. Here is the patience of the saints. Here are they that keep the commandments of God and the faith of Jesus. And I heard a voice from heaven saying unto me, Write, Blessed are the dead which die in the Lord from henceforth. Yea, saith the Spirit, that they may rest from their labors, and their works do follow them. And I looked, and I beheld a white cloud, and upon the cloud one sat, like unto the Son of Man, having on his head a golden crown, and in his hand a sharp sickle. And another angel came out of the temple, crying with a loud voice to him that sat on the cloud, Thrust thy sickle, and reap, for the time is come for thee to reap, for the harvest of the earth is ripe. And he that sat on the cloud thrust in his sickle on the earth, and the earth was reaped. And another angel came out of the temple which is in heaven, he also having a sharp sickle. And another angel came out from the altar, which had power over fire, and cried with a loud cry to him that had the sharp sickle, saying, Thrust in thy sharp sickle, and gather the clusters of the vine of the earth, for her grapes are fully ripe. And the angel thrust in his sickle into the earth, and gathered the vine of the earth, and cast it into the great winepress of the wrath of God. And the winepress was trodden without the city, and blood came out of the winepress, even unto the horse bridles, by the space of 1,600 furlongs. Now,
So, are you mostly just familiar with this in terms of the phrase, the grapes of wrath? That's where I am.
I am, which is funny because the grapes of wrath are not, the exact phrase, the grapes of wrath, are not in here.
Right.
Which, I mean, in the same way that, the quote-unquote Antichrist is never mentioned, right? Like they call him the beast, right?
Right.
Yeah, yeah. That's how familiar I am with chapter 14.
Right,
Yeah.
me too.
But yeah, let's take a look at the popular interpretation here. So after all of those terrifying visions of the dragon and the two beasts, right, in chapters 12 and 13, chapter 14 provides us with some relief and some hope, right? This is the victory chapter, a preview of how it's all going to end, right? Reassurance for believers suffering persecution that they will be vindicated and their enemies will be judged, right? So we got the 144,000 on Mount Zion, right? John sees the Lamb, Jesus, standing on Mount Zion with the 144,000, right? We met this group in chapter 7 where they were sealed on their foreheads with God's seal for protection. Now they are with the Lamb in victory. So popular interpretation sees this as either the raptured church, right? These are believers who have been taken to heaven before/during the tribulation. Could be Jewish believers, right? 144,000 literal Jews, 12,000 from each tribe who accept Jesus during the tribulation. They could be martyred tribulation saints, right? Those who refused the mark of the beast and were killed and are now in heaven.
In which case, the 12 times 12,000 is just a perfect number. It doesn't have to do with how many tribes of Israel they were.
Right. Yeah. They have the Father's name written on their foreheads, contrasting with those who have the beast's mark, right? That's 666 on their foreheads. That was in chapter 13. This shows whose they are. They are sealed by God, not marked by the beast. And if I remember correctly, in our Solomon episode, there was that was back when Beelzebub was kind of being swapped out as the king of demons. And remember in our Solomon episode, Solomon was capturing all of these demons and saying like, what star do you come from? And then like, who's the angel that like defeats you?
Right.
And it was like, oh, it's Uriel. Oh, it's Raphael. Oh, it's this guy, that guy. And I believe Beelzebub said it's Emmanuel and gave a number, and it was close to 666. It was like 644 or something like that. And I think that is what they're talking about here. I think that was the original thing. I think 666 is supposed to be a mockery of that. I think the number of the Lord being on your forehead or your hand came first.
I see.
Yeah. But we never think about that. We never we only think of like 666.
Yeah, we're more used to the idea of a marking on Passover that the Lord has put there, but that's not translated into some number or name as far as I know.
Yeah. I want to talk about this, the 144,000 not being defiled with women, talking about them being virgins. So this verse causes a considerable debate in popular interpretation. The literal view is that they are celibate men who have never had sexual relations. Some dispensationalists suggest these are 144,000 Jewish male evangelists who remain celibate to focus on ministry during the tribulation, like in 1 Corinthians. Symbolically, this could refer to spiritual purity, right? They don't fornicate with false religion or compromise with the beast's system. Just as Babylon is called a quote-unquote whore for religious/political like unfaithfulness. These are quote-unquote virgins because they remained spiritually pure. Many popular teachers prefer this view since it doesn't require celibacy.
Many popular teachers who are drowning in it.
Yeah, right. When I read that, I how can you not like have a little smirk like on like while you're reading that? Like, of course they do.
All the popular teachers are getting some.
Mm-hmm.
It's the unpopular ones who are the versions.
That's we're looking at the popular scholarly view. You know,
Right.
these are the scholars who wear the leather jackets and they go up to the jukebox and they go, "Hey,
Hey.
smoking's not cool unless I do it." But
That's right.
yeah. But they are referred to as the first fruits, the first portion of the harvest offered to God, suggesting more believers will follow.
So in most denominations, it's the first 144,000 are special in some way, but there will be more. But as we talked about in other denominations, other interpretations, like the Jehovah's Witnesses, they think that there are only the 14. That those people are like have already been meted out. Yeah,
right,
and there's only a specific number of people forever and ever.
Yeah. Forever and ever, amen. Well, let's look at these three angels and their messages. So three angels appear with announcements, proclamations about what's coming, right? So the first angel, right, proclaims the everlasting gospel, quote unquote, everlasting gospel to every nation, calling people to fear God and worship the Creator because judgment is coming. And again, popular interpretation, this is God's final offer of salvation during the tribulation. Even amid judgment, the gospel is still being preached. Some see this as a special tribulation gospel, different from the church age gospel. The angel flying, quote, in the midst of heaven suggests this message goes everywhere. No one can claim that they didn't hear it. Then the second angel announces Babylon is fallen, right? It says it twice. Popular interpretation, right? This previews Babylon's destruction, which won't be fully described until chapters 17 and 18. Babylon represents either the literal rebuilt Babylon in Iraq, right? Less common view now. Rome and the Roman Catholic Church. This is the classic Protestant view. A future one world religious / economic system, or the Antichrist's headquarters city, right? His city state, right?
Some kind of super, mega politically powerful like place on earth.
Yeah,
right?
politically religio-politically powerful.
Right.
Yeah. So the announcement is in past tense, right? Is fallen. Even though the fall hasn't happened yet, showing it is so certain that God speaks of it as already accomplished. Babylon has made all the nations drink of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, right? She seduced the world into false religion and economic exploitation. Right?
Okay.
Yeah, so that's our second angel.
Yeah, because the first, second, and third angels are in present tense, past tense, and future tense. You think that's on purpose? I was going to critique it, but you went.
That's a Dickens of a coincidence.
Or not. Or it's not. Just
Or John got tired and
Greek is not his first language. He's not writing in it. Usually.
Yeah. Greek was not his first language, and it will not have been. No. All right, but let's look at this third angel, right? Okay. Warns about the mark of the beast, right? This is the explicit warning that taking the mark brings eternal judgment. Anyone who worships the beast or his image or receives his mark will, quote, drink of the wine of the wrath of God and be tormented with fire and brimstone forever and ever. Again, popular interpretation emphasizes this is the unforgivable sin. Once you take the mark, there's no salvation possible. This is why tribulation saints must refuse the mark at all costs, even if it means death. The torment is eternal. The smoke of their torment ascendeth up forever and ever. So the phrase, in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb, is troubling. Are the Lamb and the angels watching people be tortured forever? Right? Some popular teachers struggle with this, even though they don't struggle with getting dates.
When they're at the sock hop, making out. No problem with this.
Yeah. All right. Hey, let's share a milkshake. Hey. Yeah. But then verse 12 provides this application. It says, here is the patience of the saints. Here are they that keep the commandments of God and the faith of Jesus. This echoes chapter 13, verse 10's call to patient endurance. Message is clear. Tribulation saints must endure. Don't take the mark. Don't worship the beast. Keep God's commandments. Maintain faith in Jesus, even if it costs you everything. This one is, I don't know how you felt about this, but the next one, when they say, blessed are the dead, right? Verse 13 is one of the few blessed statements in Revelation. Blessed are the dead which die in the Lord from henceforth. Popular interpretation, those who die as Christian martyrs during the tribulation are blessed. They escape the coming horrors, rest from their labors, and their faithful works will follow them.
Right. Yeah, I think it's saying because now is the time. So, this is from here on out is the beginning of this great war, right? And so anyone who dies, anyone who's, you have to pick a side right now is basically what it's saying. Don't pick the wrong side because it is permadeath, like in the video game language, right?
Yeah.
It's permadeath. You can't not restart your save or anything.
If you die in the apocalypse, you die for real.
Right, exactly. So yeah, if you're with the Lord from here on out, then yeah, you are blessed. If you die, if you die when you're blessed now, you die forever blessed.
Okay. I see. Okay. Well, see, saying it like that, is much more comforting. It sounded like when Robert Newton as Long John Silver said, "Them that die will be the lucky ones."
Right. They'll envy the dead.
Yeah.
The living will envy the dead.
Yeah. That's what I thought. It was like, oh, this angel comes down from heaven, and it's like the ones that die are going to be the lucky ones. And I was like, oh, Jesus.
Yeah. Well. No, I think the living will envy the dead because the living will be with Satan, and the dead will be with Christ, I think.
Yeah. I think that's what it is. Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess it's more comforting. But again, we'll talk about this in a little bit. But the idea that you make a decision now and you are marked by that forever is not quite the kind of Christianity that I prefer, even though I'm not Christian. Christ's forgiveness of the ultimate, terrible people.
Yeah. But yeah, let's look at this harvest, right? This is why we're here. We're talking about the grapes of wrath, right?
Yeah.
So now John sees. So John sees, quote, one like the Son of Man, one like unto the Son of Man.
So what does that mean?
I was pausing to ask you that. Because several angels come out and tell him what to do. Nobody tells the Son of Man what to do. It's like they come to, it's like, take your sickle and do this thing. And if I was the Son of Man, I'm not, but if I was, I'd be like, hey, I'm the Son of Man. What are you telling me? I know what I'm doing. I was awake during the meeting. I wrote the PowerPoint
when my father made the heavens and the earth. Right?
Yeah.
Every word that I've read just says this is Jesus, but it's just so weird that he says it like that. He's one like Jesus.
We're back to Milton. It's he was like a phoenix. He was like a toad.
Right. So the lamb is Jesus. So everywhere I read, everyone's like, don't worry about all this weirdness. This lamb is Jesus, even though here we usually translate it as a lamb and not the lamb. Previously we had, anyway, so this is still the same lamb. And then this person who is like the Son of Man is still Jesus.
Yes.
Okay.
So, but he is
Lester is like Lester.
This is true.
Which is true.
You could say I'm the most like Lester.
Yeah, I would say that.
You like somebody would have a hard time looking and acting more like me.
Right. Like if we arranged you and your three brothers, some of them would be more like Lester than the others. But definitely you would be the most like Lester.
Yes. Is that how I'm going to get away with murder? Is like, so are you saying Lester killed that man? It's like, no, I'm saying somebody like Lester killed that man.
One like Lester.
One like unto Lester, yes.
Yeah, so maybe this is the lesson of faith. Maybe this is the parable of the mustard seed, like we read something like that and then I spend half an hour trying to interpret this and trying to see what people are saying, and everyone else is like, don't worry about that. Just have faith. This is Jesus.
Yeah.
Like, okay, that would have saved me a lot of time if I were just less skeptical, I suppose. Yeah.
I mean, that's a little bit of a Gordian knot situation, if you ask me. I mean, I think some things need to be, examined and picked apart, but whatever.
You can't tell ahead of time.
Yeah. Which one is okay for me to examine more closely, and which one is blasphemy if I do it? That's the eternal problem.
Be like a mustard seed, Lester.
Like a mustard seed. Yeah. Anyway.
All right, so this is the Son of Man, Jesus.
Jesus, right?
He's there.
On a cloud with a golden crown and a sharp sickle.
That's not very Jesus-y.
That is not. Not. I was going to say, well, the crown, but no, not the crown either.
No. I think he threw away crowns, right?
Yeah, he was not a fan of crowns. Yeah, angel. But this is what I'm saying. an angel tells him
Mm-hmm.
to thrust in his sickle and reap because the harvest of the earth is ripe.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Why is an angel telling Jesus anything?
I don't know.
Anyway, or is he like? Is it like a Rick Moranis angel being like, hey, just God sent me here. He's saying, 3, 2, 1, go. It's like it.
Mm-hmm.
You got the okay. You got the green light. Just go. What? I mean, you guys are the same person anyway. Why am I even doing this?
Right.
Yeah.
So these are friends of his.
Yeah. They're servants.
These 3 angels. Oh,
Yeah.
Is Lewis a servant of the Ghostbusters or a friend?
Oh,
He's a servant, I guess.
I'm going to say he's the best Ghostbuster. Is what I'm going to say.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, okay. So, okay, popular interpretation, right, sees this as the final gathering or judgment, right? The harvest metaphor appears throughout Scripture. We see this all the time. In Matthew chapter 13, verse 39, right? Quote, the harvest is the end of the world. In Joel chapter 3, verse 13, right? Put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. So this is Jesus gathering his people, his believers, or executing judgment on non-believers, depending on which prophecy teacher you ask.
That is a big difference, I would say.
Yeah. I love how we have not narrowed it down.
It does just seem so different to have his key prop. If you're trying to interpret it as being a loving thing of collecting you, it just seems so different from like the shepherd's staff, which is like that's another way of collecting that we already have in the Bible of the Lord as being your shepherd. So it's difficult for me to square that.
The more I read this, the more I am convinced this is not like John of the Gospels, because if Jesus was looking over John's shoulder as he was writing this, he would slap him upside the head. He's like, have you learned nothing? Not only is this not John, but this whole book just doesn't fit in the Bible the way the rest of the stuff does, specifically because it is so counter to the Jesus we've known up to this point.
Right.
Like if you're gonna, I'm not even talking about like faith-wise. I'm talking about like story structure, right? If you are writing a grand fantasy and you have a gentle, peace-loving God who like you said, Keenan, whose prop is a shepherd's staff, and in this pantheon of like deities and supernatural beings, you also have like a fucking skeleton in a robe with a scythe. Then at the end of your book series, you're not going to have the sweet, nice shepherd God show up on a cloud with a sickle.
Right.
I
agree. No, I agree. Yeah, it's odd imagery. Yeah.
If we're making callbacks, like, like, is this death? Is this, But okay, let's talk about this wine press, though. So another angel with a sickle. Okay, why we need another angel with a sickle? If Jesus has a sickle, what good is this other angel going to do? Anyway. No, I'm just like.
Sure.
So the first angel is like, hey, Jesus, hey, boss, go do this thing. And then the second angel comes and it's like, I don't trust you to do this by yourself. So I also brought a sickle.
No, I wouldn't want you to get your hands dirty. You're the boss.
But. So another angel with a sickle gathers the, quote, clusters of the vine of the earth and throws them into, quote, the great winepress of the wrath of God. Oh, okay. I guess one of them is collecting the good people and one of them is collecting the bad people.
Oh, you think so?
I mean, so this angel gathers them and throws them into the winepress of the wrath of God.
Oh, well, yeah. So I mean, I don't. That's why I don't see it as some nice imagery here. That the reaping is negative, but okay.
Right.
So,
but Jesus is reaping, I guess, the good people.
I don't see. That had never occurred to me. I thought everyone's going in the wine press.
Okay, yeah.
So you're saying the other angel is there to reap the bad ones?
Maybe. I'm giving John so much benefit of the doubt.
All right. Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, obviously, this is judgment. This is not salvation, right? The winepress is trodden, right? Grapes are crushed, and blood comes out of the winepress, all right? Even unto the horse bridles, meaning like everybody's going to die, even the horses, right?
Yeah, their bridles are like, oh, I see. So yeah, it's up to their head. So yeah.
Oh, okay.
I was counting at the bottom of the horse bridle. So people are taller than horses' mouths, most people. Anyways, you're not going to have a good time.
No.
Wading through all that blood. But a horse bridle is where is it? It's I don't know, like 5 feet, 5.5 feet.
But I don't think it's saying even up to. I think it's saying like even the horses will be killed.
Well, that's not very nice.
No, it isn't. But yeah.
The winepress was trotted without the city.
Meaning outside of the city.
Without the city. Right.
Yeah, within and without. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I thought I knew what was going on here. But I guess I don't.
Yep. But
it's not nice imagery.
No. Yeah. No, this is very vivid, very graphic, right? This is the Battle of Armageddon, right? Described in chapter 19. Like so many people are killed that their blood flows as deep as a horse's bridle, right? Which is about, like, okay, you're right, about 4 feet.
4 feet, okay.
Right, 1,600 furlongs. For 1,600 furlongs, roughly 184 to 200 miles. Right?
Yeah, I had, in the literal translation, 1,600 stadia. So I don't know if a furlong, because a furlong is a British, measure. So I guess unless they, I guess I don't know enough about horse racing. Maybe they invented the furlong to mean a stadia, but 1 stadium length.
Yep. Which is apparently, well, it says, roughly 184 to 200 miles. Apparently the approximate length of Israel.
Oh, okay.
The key word being approximate. Like when you take Obama's name and you change it completely around.
I mean, Obama is approximately Osama.
Approximately, yes.
I don't know. So I didn't know that. So I'm looking. I don't know if this will come up with an answer. How long is the ancient state of Israel? They're giving me dates, of course.
Yeah.
How wide is the ancient state of Israel?
Just the area. Or the surface area,
85 miles wide.
Really?
85 miles wide.
Okay, so completely wrong. That's not 184, and that's not 200.
Oh, wait, I need to go the other way. So that's wide, because I didn't know how to get this area. And then long, 150 miles. So even that's not...
No. You gave 2 completely different numbers. So we have 4 completely different... We have 180... So it could be anywhere from 184 to 200, which it is not. It is... Right. What did you say? 85 to...
150.
Yeah. So yeah.
From Dan to Beersheba, which are such strange words that I'm going to believe this source. This is zondervanacademic.com.
Well, Dan is one of the tribes.
Yes. And then Beersheba, which I haven't heard of, so I'm going to assume this is correct.
Yeah. But yeah. But yeah, most popular teachers take this literally, an actual river of blood from the slaughter. This is God's wrath poured out on those who took the mark and worshipped the beast. The image is terrifying on purpose. It's showing like all these consequences of rejecting God and following the Antichrist, who has not been named yet.
Okay.
And I'm very disappointed, which is where we're calling him the beast, and I guess that's what we're doing.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, so, and like I thought, the winepress is, quote, trodden without the city, right, meaning outside of Jerusalem, right? And this is connecting to Isaiah chapter 63, verse 1 through 6, where God treads the winepress of judgment.
Okay, so it's Jerusalem, and the New Jerusalem or the Old Jerusalem? Because this one, we're talking about a New Jerusalem in Revelation, so.
Popular teachers were busy making out at this time, so they didn't...
That's their excuse for everything.
Yeah,
you used to have time for your friends, popular teachers.
They were at makeout point, which is,
Right. Hey, baby, do you want to see 1,600 furlongs?
But okay, that's the popular view. Let's look at our scholarly interpretation here. So chapter 14 is John's answer to chapter 13's oppressive vision, right? The beast seemed unstoppable, right? The military might, the propaganda system, the economic control, everybody is marked. But chapter 14 says, no, the beast doesn't have the final word. Here's what's actually true. Here's how this really ends. This is a resistance literature at its finest, countering empire's propaganda with the truth about power, allegiance, and ultimate judgment. So let's look at these 144,000 again. Right? John sees a lamb stood upon Mount Sion, and with him 144,000, having his father's name written on their foreheads. Directly counters chapter 13. Everyone was marked with the beast's number 666 on their forehead. Here, the faithful have the father's name on their foreheads. The 144,000 aren't a literal number, but they represent the complete people of God, right? The 12 tribes, 12 apostles, times 1,000 equals just the perfect number.
Because 1,000's pretty cool.
Because 1,000 is pretty epic, right? Because what's 999? It's 666.
Six upside down.
Kind of like an upside down cross. So it's even more. No, it's not. That's whatever. But yeah, so they are redeemed from the earth. They're liberated from empire's control. Mount Zion represents the where the true authority resides, not in Rome, not with the beast, but in God's kingdom with the Lamb. They sing, quote, a new song that only they can learn because it's the song of those who have resisted empire and been vindicated.
So we don't hear the song.
It's much like the Monster Mash in that,
like the Monster Mash
that way. and the whole haven't been defiled with women thing, that's not about sexual virginity. It's political language, meaning they didn't sleep with Rome. They didn't sleep with Babylon. They didn't compromise with the beast system. They didn't participate in, the cult. They remained faithful to their true allegiance, right? They follow the Lamb's pattern of suffering, service, and sacrificial love, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, since we've seen all this Babylon imagery, and we'll get more, right? But that's the main thrust of what we say about Babylon is the sexual wantonness and all of that. So yeah, so it makes sense that this virginity here would be metaphorical, not literal.
Yeah. And now, so for us, this is identity formation for resistors, right? Have you quote slept with empire? Have you compromised with systems of oppression? Have you let yourself be contaminated by the by participation in exploitation and violence, or have you kept yourself pure following the Lamb's pattern, even when costly, right? The Father's name on the forehead versus the beast's mark represents, fundamental choice, right? Ultimate allegiance to truth and justice or to oppressive power and its economic systems. The new song is what you get to sing when you have walked the costly path of resistance and found vindication on the other side. And I'm seeing this a lot now, but I think one interpretation of that is there are several groups. There are people who are loudly cheering for injustice and violence and suffering. And then there are people who are loudly opposing injustice and suffering and violence. And then there's people in the middle who are not saying anything. They remind me of those folks in Dante's Anti-Inferno. It's the like the little place before actual hell, who never chose a side and are kind of like, oh well, I don't want to rock the boat. I don't want to, it's like none of this stuff is hurting me. So yeah, my neighbors are getting oppressed, and and yes, there's racism, but I'm a cis white Christian male, so it's like what's it's not my problem. I think that is just as bad as the people who are loudly proclaiming it's violence, racial profiling, and I mean, of course I'm not going to outrightly say that, but the racists and the bigots and the sexists and the violent people who want to do minorities harm and women harm and stuff like that. If you're on the sidelines because you're not affected and you're just like, meh, it's like, I don't want to, it's none of my business, then you are part of the problem.
Right. At least I didn't do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Is beyond the point. No one, yeah.
Yeah. And I think we talked about in our Dante season as well, there was a point, I think they were just starting to crawl out of hell. And Virgil had said to Dante, it's not enough to not be this way. You have to be anti this way. And I've talked about that in my classes, just when we're going over like the civil rights movement, or when we're talking about other stuff, women's rights and stuff like that. It's not enough to be. It's like, well, I'm not racist. I'm not sexist. Well, like that doesn't even matter. You have to constantly be fighting it. You have to be against it. You have to call it out when it happens, right? That's like saying, it's like, well, I don't agree with bacteria. The guy who used the kitchen before me, it had a raw chicken on the counter, but that wasn't my raw chicken, so I'm not going to disinfect it before I make my sandwich. Like, that's stupid. Like, you're going to get infected, right? So like seeing stuff and not calling it out, and being witness to oppression, unfair treatment, racism, sexism, all of that stuff, violence, targeted violence, and saying nothing because you're not the one doing it. What's the easier phrase? I keep on seeing it all over the place. Like apathy is acceptance, or something like that. Like you are actually helping the oppressors by doing that.
I see. Yeah. Well, status quo favors whatever system you're in.
Yeah. And the normalization of the violence, and not to be a part of that. You need to call it out when you see like you need to be antibacterial. You also have to be anti-racist and anti-sexist. Yeah. But yeah. Okay. Let's talk about this first angel again, right? The angel proclaims the everlasting gospel, right? So this word, which sometimes is like translated as evangelion, this was actually Rome's word. When a new emperor took power, or Rome won a military victory, heralds proclaimed the evangelion, or the good news of Rome's triumph, the gospel of imperial power. By using this word, John makes a direct challenge. There's a different gospel, not the, quote, good news of Roman military victory and control, but the true gospel about God who will judge empire and vindicate resistors. The message is fear God and give glory to him, for the hour of his judgment is come, and worship him that made the heaven and the earth. Directly counters imperial worship, right? Rome demanded worship of the emperor as divine, right? The angel says, no, worship the creator, not Caesar. Give glory to God, not the empire, right? The hour of judgment is coming. Empire's time is up. Right? So again, for us, this is about recognizing competing gospels, right? America proclaims its own good news, right? American exceptionalism, manifest destiny. We were talking about that in school too, right? Spreading democracy, making the world safe through military might. Every empire has its gospel, its propaganda about why its dominance is actually good for everyone. If you Google, I don't know exactly the phrasing, but you can find some really, really creepy buildings made by the Japanese during World War II, when they were going throughout Asia to, quote unquote, spread peace. And there are like monuments, like I think they're just like referred to as monuments of peace, and you can find them in China and in other places. And we all know what the Japanese were up to in China and Korea and the other places of Asia, like during World War II. So them calling it a mission of peace is like chilling.
Yeah. They wanted stability. They wanted people to not fight them anymore, but that wasn't the same thing as peace. That they weren't coming with peace. They wanted the people that they were conquering to be peaceful.
Right. Yeah.
I read this, or I'm sorry, you might not be done with that point about the Japanese.
Let me. No, I'm done with that.
Okay. Speaking of propaganda, I just heard a guy on the media. Sorry, I don't remember his name, but he had spent time in China reporting from there, and then in Russia and Ukraine reporting from there. And he was making a point about the Chinese, like, Communist Party style of propaganda versus like the Putin Russian style of propaganda. He said in China, the goal is for people to agree with the message in the propaganda and to get people to be like, yes, that makes sense. That's good for everybody. That'll make us happier, or what have you. And then not everyone believes in it, but that's the goal. And there's some people who do believe it. And then he said in Russia, the goal is not to make everyone believe in it. The goal is just to like wear them down with the cynicism of it, like to show them like, oh, look, this is going to make everybody happy, but nothing is happiness. And like to remind you that everything is suffering, so don't even try to resist it.
This is as good as it gets. And wow. Well, there you go, folks. Yeah. Yep.
So, China, you get Labubus. In Russia, you get nothing.
Yeah.
There is nothing.
You get Laboo-hoos. So stupid.
Excellent.
Okay, yeah. But we keep on talking about capital E empire, right? And we keep on talking about Babylon, right? And we could look at America as the new Babylon, right? Or any current empire, right? And when they say Babylon is fallen, both past and future, right? It's the pattern of all empires, right? Rome fell, Britain's empire fell, the Soviet Union fell, right? Like these are all, and that's why we keep on using these names of empires that were great and have fallen, right?
Okay.
And that's the promise of all empires, I think, is what John is saying, right? Any empires that force nations to drink its wine, its economic systems, its military alliances, cultural hegemony, dollar dominance, right? Nations get intoxicated by its wealth and military protection, entering into quote unquote fornication with empire. But the announcement still stands. Babylon is fallen, right? It's so certain we can speak of it in past tense. Every empire collapses. This, and I sound, what's the word? It sounds fatalistic to say that. It's like, yeah, everyone, it's like, and ours will too, America will too. But at the same time, I think it's better to be aware and prepare and recognize and own it, rather than just kind of like be an ostrich with your head in the sand and be like, we're doing great. We are the greatest country. Like nobody's ever going to beat us, and everybody loves us, and we're number one. And because that's how, like, the more of that Kool-Aid you drink, the more of a rude awakening you're going to get, I think. Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, America will fall at some point. I don't know when. I hope not in my lifetime, because I reap the benefits. But it'll be, at some point the Earth will be swallowed by the sun.
Yeah,
Where will America be at that point?
Yeah. On Mars, I don't know.
Yeah, they'll say it was a couple of years, I guess.
Yeah. No.
Get to Mars.
But just this idea that nothing can kill us, and we're going to live forever, and by that virtue, like. I mean, it's giving. If I can, quote the kids, it's giving. Might is right.
Yes, I was just about to say that, right?
Which is wrong. Which is very wrong.
Right.
Yeah. No, wrong. Yeah. But yeah, then we got this third angel, right? And he's warning about the mark, right? If any man worship the beast and his image, receive the mark on his forehead or his hand, right? Shall drink from the wrath of God, tormented with fire and brimstone forever and ever and ever, right? Basically, if you worship the beast, if you give ultimate allegiance to empire, right? Worship his image, participate in his imperial propaganda, receive his mark, right? This, complying with like empire's like economic system through compromise. You will face judgment, right? The wine of God's wrath without mixture means undiluted, full-strength judgment. Isn't about literal hell as much as it's about the permanent consequences of choosing empire over truth. Those who fully accommodate empire, those who worship oppressive power, those who let themselves be marked and controlled by systems of exploitation, they face consequences. When empire falls, its collaborators go down with it, right? Think historically, when Rome fell, when Nazi Germany fell, when the Soviet Union collapsed, like what happened to those who built their lives around that power? They fell with the system that they served. I tell my students now to be so careful. They know this better than me, because they were born and the internet was already just an objective truth.
Right.
I'm kind of like talking to them as if they're also millennials. But we see. But I'm talking about like boomers who will say the craziest, most racist, most heinous things. There are already people who are making like AI memes about Renee Good. There are those folks who are like posing in front of the alligator Alcatraz sign, and this age is an age where nothing is ever deleted. This is an age we don't have that anymore. We can't get rid of evidence anymore, because the internet is forever. There's no scrubbing those racist tweets that you made. There's no covering up like something that you maybe don't want people to know about, from your past, right? Especially if you are going on to social media and basically telling on yourselves, right? Posing in front of that, or singing the Ice Ice Baby song, or having a little what it's like avatar or profile picture that just says "I love ice raids" or whatever, or cheering when like liking or laughing the images of the kids sleeping with tinfoil blankets or whatever. And, like that's your, what do they call it? Your digital footprint. Like that's never going away. And I wonder if that's if we can interpret eternal hellfire and brimstone as that, as once we come back to sanity and these concentration camps are closed, you're not going to be able to just kind of like sneak back into society. Because people have receipts. People have, it's like, oh, weren't you that person who said that horrible thing about Renee Good? Oh, weren't you that person? Like, wait, I know you. I've seen your face. You stood in front of the Alligator Alcatraz sign with like 2 thumbs up. Like, how are you going to, like, you're going to have to be like a hermit for the rest of your life. Like, because people are going to know about that, right? But yeah, like think about that. Think about like extinction burst, that phrase that I used before, when empires are getting, like when they're about to die out, then that's when they get like really, really intense and really, really heavy. And lots of people get hurt because they are clinging to power and stepping all over people and hurting people to keep it. But that is a sign that it's almost done.
All right, we'll see.
Yeah. But I also want to talk about, right, this patient endurance, this call to resistance, right? So, quote, "Here is the patience of the saints. Here are they that keep the commandments of God and the faith of Jesus," right? Interesting how it's like we call him the Lamb. We call him like unto the Son of Man. We call him the actual Son of Man. And this is like, okay, now we call him Jesus.
Yes.
Yeah.
Great.
Thank you, John.
Thank you.
Yeah. But yeah, after this terrifying warning, John gives the application. He says, this is what faithful endurance looks like. Keep God's commandments, right? Maintain ethical integrity. Hold to faith in Jesus. Maintain allegiance to the Lamb's pattern, not empire's pattern. Echoes, consistent message, right? Don't accommodate, don't compromise, don't take the mark, right? Endure, remain faithful, even if it costs everything, right? For first century readers facing the choice between saying Caesar is Lord and living, or Jesus is Lord and dying, this is direct instruction, right? Endure, don't compromise, right? So, and again, for contemporary readers, patient endurance means not accommodating to oppressive systems, right? Not compromising your values for economic security, not selling out for political power, right? Not taking the quote unquote mark, however that manifests in your context, right? It means maintaining ethical integrity, right? Empathy is not a sin, period. Like it's not. It like and being okay with that. And being like, well, the sin of empathy, like that is you complying. That is you being in bed with the propaganda of the empire, right? You have to be willing to sacrifice, your career, your security, your reputation for the sake of truth and justice. This is the call. Endure patiently, keep the commandments, maintain faith, even if it costs you everything. And then he says, blessed are the dead, right? Remember that, yeah. So those who die maintaining their allegiance, refusing to compromise, even unto death, right? They rest from their labors, right? The struggle is over, and their works follow them. Meaning, like whether or not you believe in an afterlife, it could simply mean that your actions, your faithful witness, have a lasting impact, right? You've positively affected other people. Right? And then, from henceforth, right, suggests that, the persecution is intensifying and it's better to die faithful than to keep struggling. Again, for first century readers facing execution for refusing to worship Caesar, this was a real comfort. Your deaths aren't meaningless. Your witness will endure. For contemporary readers, this speaks to anyone who sacrifices for truth and justice. Maybe not literal death, though journalists and activists and dissidents are killed, but sacrificing maybe a career, security, reputation, comfort for the sake of integrity, that labor has meaning, right? It's not wasted. The works will follow. When you lose your job for speaking the truth, when you're marginalized for refusing to accommodate, when you sacrifice advancement for the sake of ethical integrity, you're dying, quote, in the Lord, right? And that death is blessed. You rest from the struggle and your witness continues beyond you. People are asking, is like, why the the sign-on package to be an ICE agent is so attractive. I think this speaks directly to that. Like you'll have all of this money, you'll have all of this financial security, you'll have all of this, all of these benefits, all of this protection. You just got to go and do like horrible, shitty things to people, and people like that. That is literally what sleeping with empire looks like in the modern day. I think. Is comfortable. Like, well, I gotta take care of myself. I gotta take care of my family. I gotta pay the bills. I gotta pay, for this house. So I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna, tear families apart and, put kids in tinfoil blankets and whatever. But yeah, let's look at this harvest, separating the truth from the lies, right? So one, like the Son of Man, appears with a golden crown and a sharp sickle. Angel tells him to reap because the harvest of the earth is ripe. So harvest metaphor, right? Talking about separation, gathering those who've remained faithful from those who've compromised, right? I've also heard, in the other part of the Bible, separating the wheat from the chaff, right? That's not from here, right? That's from another place.
I don't know where that's from, but okay. I'm saying because again, like I know this is an interpretation that's like positive and anti-imperial, but that just doesn't sound like Jesus. I think Jesus likes the chaff, right?
Yeah, he literally hung out with the chaff.
Right, exactly. So yeah, he to separate the good grapes from the bad grapes, even if the bad grapes are pretty bad, that just doesn't sound like Jesus to me.
Yeah. But yeah, for contemporary readers, this is both warning and hope, right? Harvest is coming. It's time when all the accommodations, all the compromises, all the ways people have aligned with empire will be exposed. Those who have maintained faithful resistance while everyone else is accommodating will be vindicated. Those who have quietly compromised while claiming to be on the right side will be revealed. The harvest shows who actually followed the lamb's pattern and who just, talked the talk without walking the walk. Right?
There's all this blood everywhere.
Yeah, right?
You can't walk anywhere.
Yeah, no.
Can't get the mail.
But can we interpret it that way though? Rather than Jesus separating the good from the bad, can we look at it as this is a metaphor for the good and the bad will be separated by us, and the truth will be revealed. Those the seedy underbelly of these seemingly good institutions will be shown to the public. So whenever like a mega church pastor is outed for like some kind of like financial crime or something like that, or somebody is, or like the Epstein files or something like that, right? So that's not God, like literally like separating the good from the bad. That is like an unveiling. That's like, aha, see, this is the true nature of everybody.
A revelation.
Right?
Yeah, maybe. I think that's hard to see here. I mean, the real Jesus, the Jesus in the Gospels did that for sure, right? He would call out holy people and call out the moneylenders and the Pharisees and people who stood in the temple and said, "Hey, you can't do any work while I'm praying. Look at me. Stop your work."
Right,
so the real Jesus did that. But I don't know. I think the real Jesus would also forgive those Pharisees if they converted to Christianity and believed in him. And he would believe he would forgive the megachurch pastor who decided at the end that he was wrong and changes his life.
Well, that's you're going on the condition that he has decided that he's wrong.
Yeah, like A Christmas Carol.
Yeah.
Scrooge is going to heaven. Yeah.
I mean, no. See, that's the thing. That's why I still like that story, is because in the end he did celebrate goodness, right? Yeah. He wasn't, but I think what this might be talking about is. The people are going to be exposed, and they're going to be upset that they got caught, and they're not actually going to be like sorry, and they've just actually been found out.
We're going to see a lot of terrible things happening to those people. So again, I have trouble with it. Let's see how far that tracks in the rest.
Let's see.
Yeah, they're about to get pressed into wine, and then that's just the beginning.
Yeah, if that's literal.
Right.
Boy, we have swapped sides, I think. Okay. But yeah, okay, let's specifically talk about this wine press. Could this be violence turning on itself? So again, it not being God, but it's being hoisted by our own petards, right? So we get this other angel, right? And it says, the clusters of the vine of the earth, right, throws them into the great winepress of the wrath of God, right? The winepress is trampled, and blood came out, even unto the horse bridles by the space of 1,600 furlongs, right? So yes, this imagery is horrific, and if we look at God as the one kind of what is it? He is tramping out the vintage where the grapes of wrath are stored, right?
That's right.
if we see him doing that, right, then yeah, oh my God, like that's not the Jesus I know, right? Or is this equivalent to somebody trying to fire a gun at you and it exploding in their hand, and so their own violence is turning upon them.
Well, that's part of what Jesus says, right? That he who lives by the sword dies by the sword.
Right.
So that's part of that. I don't know. I think that here it's the wrath of God that's in there specifically, and that's Old Testament to me. That's not New Testament, right?
Right. Yeah.
So it's the winepress of the wrath of God, not the winepress of wrath. I think the of God must mean something.
Well, if you look at God as like everywhere and everything, then this is hey, don't put your hand on that stove. Ow. Mom, why did you burn my hand? It's like, no, I told you don't put your hand on that stove, right? I told you thou shalt not kill. I told you, don't do these things, and then you do them, and then you hurt yourself, and that is on you. But
that at most is Old Testament God, not New Testament God.
Say again?
That at most is Old Testament God and not Jesus, right?
Okay. Well, WWJD, what would Jesus do?
Jesus, I don't think, would say, I told you so. I don't think that's Jesus' thing.
He would actually, yeah, you're right. He would take your hand and he would kiss it. He would be like,
oh, yes.
Yeah. But then you would go and you would do it again.
Well, that's Jesus coddling you all. All right, but I'm taking this. I'm listening to this hypothesis. This is about violence begetting more violence, and I could buy part of that. Yeah.
Yeah. I think. Yeah. It's personally. I think this is empire's own violence, turning on itself. Right. Rome's militarism destroyed Rome. Nazi Germany's violence led to its annihilation. Right. I think empires drown in their own violence. Right. I think that's well. See, I don't even know if that's what John is trying to say, but I think like that's the interpretation that I like. And yeah, for us folks, right? The winepress shows that any empire's violence will destroy that empire, right? Endless wars, military spending, global domination through force, right? These are unsustainable, and they will lead to collapse. Empires will eat themselves, right? It makes me think of like all those romanticized Scorsese like gangster films. The first act is always so like rose tinted, and it's like ever since I was how does he say?
That's
like,
it, yeah.
From the day, no, how does
for as long as I could remember.
For as long as I can remember, I wanted to be a gangster. That's Jack Nicholson. That's not him.
That's close.
Yeah.
That's good.
But, and he wants to be, and then he kind of like rises in this world, and everything is great, and everything is, it's like a fairy tale land, and he's the king. And then the third act is always, it's like, Karen, that was our money, Karen. And he's looking out the windows looking for the helicopters. And that's how Godfather ends. That's how, like, I know that's not Scorsese, but like, that's how all of these things, like violence will end up eating itself. And it seems like it's winning, and it seems like it's on top, but eventually the snake will eat its own tail. I think like that is something that I kind of like to hold true to. And I think that goes for, an individual or an organization like a gangster or a gang, but like also for a corrupt government, a bloodthirsty empire. I think it's just not sustainable. The only way is like if it takes over the whole world and then the leader lives forever, which is impossible.
Right. So we do know the grapes of wrath. So that comes from, it's not exactly in the Bible that way. So this is from Julia Ward Howe, who sets the Battle Hymn of the Republic, her song, to the song of John Brown's Body. So John Brown's body is a moaning in the grave. Yep. So she writes her own, and this is the Battle Hymn of the Republic. So
so Battle Hymn came second.
Yes. So
okay.
her lyrics came over the already existing song. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. So this is the Battle Hymn of the Republic, as in the American Republic, and this is written during the Civil War, and she was an abolitionist before the war. So this is about the perseverance of the Republic over the Confederacy and to eventually free the slaves. So that's what she was writing about. So she does depict this idea of God's wrath as being like, justified, right? Like he's going in there and trampling out the grapes of wrath is this wonderful thing. And it's God who's coming in and being retributive, right? Like freeing all these people. So we do know that song. The novel, though, The Grapes of Wrath, John Steinbeck. John Steinbeck is I don't know if he officially would say it, but he moved away from his faith. Most people grew up with faith at his time, and he becomes an agnostic or an atheist. It's hard to, in the 30s, it's hard to tell how people would define themselves today. But so he uses that term, the grapes of wrath. And again, it's not really from the Bible. It's from Julia Ward Howe's.
Right.
So I have here the introduction of the grapes of wrath written by Robert DeMott. So this is what he says about this, about Balham Republic. And then he finds this quote from Steinbeck writing to his agent in 1938. So this is Steinbeck. About the title. Okay. I like it because it's a march, and this book is a kind of march because it is our own revolutionary tradition, and because in reference to this book, it has a large meaning. So he takes what is a faithful hymn. Julia Ward Howe sees this as a religious hymn, and then takes it and he's reading the revolutionary aspects of it. That again, like a lot of revolutionaries of Steinbeck's time would trace, like that's what they would believe in Jesus about, like Jesus as a revolutionary, as anti-imperial. So as far as I could see, and as far as Robert DeMott sees, he is naming the novel The Grapes of Wrath not based on Revelation specifically. It's like the translation of the translation.
Right. Okay.
So yeah, Howe is much more religious about it, and for Steinbeck, it's much more like turn over everything and start over again, because that novel is very anti-religious.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's about the economic Christianity, like Christ with the, as a person, of like take all the money from the rich people and give it to everybody. That's what Steinbeck is saying. So that's how we get from Revelation's Grapes of Wrath to the more famous Grapes of Wrath in Steinbeck.
Yeah, and what I'm trying to kind of square the circle with is I'm wondering if maybe this was not what our John of Patmos was trying to say all along. That not God doing this, but like, justice coming through the hands of the people. Wasn't that the last line of the book? Like we're the people, or
it's like one. Yeah, it's like the last soliloquy in the Grapes of Wrath. Yeah, we're the people that live. That's what Ma Steinbeck. That's not Ma Steinbeck. Ma Chode says. Yeah, yeah, exactly. So Julia Ward Howe is talking about like, okay, God's righteousness is going to work through the Union, through the Republic, and keep America holy, and to even make it better by destroying slavery. So that is God's wrath. And then in Steinbeck, people normally read it like there is not really a watchful God in the Grapes of Wrath who's doing this, because then he would just fix the Great Depression. That it's going to take people's wrath, like people's, like you're talking about, this indignation and this like fury, like we've been exploited for so long, and they have everything and we have nothing. So he was a socialistic guy bordering on communistic. So that was his interpretation of it. It's like people couldn't wait around for God to do it. You had to smash it, the Grapes of Wrath yourself.
Yeah, I'm here. I mean, like I two phrases I hear almost every day now on social media is we're not angry enough and we are underreacting. So yeah, but yeah, this one has been an eye opener for me, I think. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. This is the turning point where I've been able to understand, your interpretation, or people who are trying to square this with the Gospels. And then once we have that one little line of the wrath of God, the winepress of the wrath of God, it's hard for me, and I think it's going to get harder and harder for me. But yeah, I'm loving all of your research and interpretations, and seeing maybe it's not as violent and terrible as I think, but yeah, we got more chapters to read.
But this is, so you're saying this is like the first chapter, like this is the one you were kind of like dreading, like it's like, oh, here's like, how are we going to explain this one away?
I don't know how we're going to do it. Yeah, so we'll see. Yeah, okay. we got a couple more chapters left.
Okay, yeah, a couple. Whew, yeah, but yeah, folks, this has been another episode of The Devil's Details. I've been Lester Ryan Clark. You can summon me on all the socials as Lester Ryan Clark.
And I've been Keenan Diaz, and you can invoke me on Instagram and Letterboxd as Howdy Keenan.
Yeah. Find more of our shows and other really cool podcasts at truestory.fm, or you could drop us a message at Banana for Scale Mail. That's MAIL @gmail.com. We got our Facebook listener group, Banana for Scale. It's a community for all of our shows, including this one. It's a private group. You just request to join, and we'll let you into the Infernal family. If you want more, consider joining us at truestory.fm/join and look for Banana for Scale. That's us. You get bonus episodes of all our shows, access to our Discord, and you get your episodes a week early and ad-free. Pretty cool. Just $5. Wouldst thou like to live deliciously? We're not even asking for your souls. Just give us a 5-pentagram rating on iTunes or Spotify, or wherever you listen to our show. That and sharing the show by word of mouth or on social media helps our little podcast grow and find more cool people like you. All right, folks, until next week, love and hisses. Mwah!